this time, I'm going to ask you to fasten your seatbelts.
The views from the east. Today I have a really special guest with me. He is the owner and the engine behind the JBMS1 Photography. I give you guys Mr. John Staples.
Thank you, thank you.
No, thank you, man. I really appreciate you, giving me the time today to really come and sit down and pick your brain and really give the audience a real idea of what photography is. How to get into it and the work that needs to be put in. So it's not as simple as pick up a camera and go. I mean, that's how it starts, I guess, but to get to where you are, I felt that information should be shared, and you're always willing to give information, so.
No doubt, no doubt.
So, and just to let you guys know, this isn't clickbait. Mr. Staples here, he is the photographer and media director for a ton of fashion shows. Just to name a few, the Atlantic City Fashion Week, the Soho Fashion Week, Ready to Wear Fashion Week, Fashion Week New York, and Loving My Curves at Philly Fashion Week. Just to name a few. So the information you guys will be receiving today will be invaluable. This is, we didn't start yesterday. How long have you been?
Going on about 14 years I've been in
14 years.
Yeah.
So we're talking about over a decade of experience here with us. So, enough from me, because I'm always here. It's all about you today.
Right.
Right. So just had a few questions, get the cliche questions out of the way. So why photography? Like, what events in your life led you to your passion?
Well, it started, I was in a motorcycle club.
Okay.
Started out in a motorcycle club, and I was the one always with a camera taking pictures of us out, different events and things like that. And that's where it started. That's where it grew from. From having a point and shoot camera to developing into something where I got full frame, full frame cameras over that period of time. And the love for it just grew from that point on. I always say things look different through a lens, because somebody could be having a bad day, and the minute you point a camera at them, they stop and smile, you know what I mean? And that's how it works. So I picked up the camera, and like I said, it just grew. It just
grew from there.
Turned into a passion.
What was the first shoot you did where you actually started to earn money from doing this?
My first shoot was with a plus-size adult entertainer.
Okay.
And that was my first magazine spread.
Oh.
I had a magazine spread. I did photos for the beginning of my career, and they wound up in Straight Stunting magazine.
Oh. Okay.
And it went from there.
How did it get to was she the one that was posting it and someone just picked it up and put it in there, or?
No, she actually reached out to me. I met her a while ago through a mutual friend. And she reached out to me and said, hey, I need photos done for a spread for a magazine. At that time, she didn't tell me what magazine.
Okay.
She just said a spread for a magazine, and I was like, okay. And she paid for me to come to New York, had me picked up. Once I got to New York, brought to the hotel she was at. I did the photos for her on the balcony of the hotel, and then before I knew it, I'm in a market I'm in a deli ordering a sandwich, and I pick up Straight Stunt magazine, I'm flipping through it, and there was my pictures. I had no clue.
That feeling must have been incredible because...
Oh man, I was like, Straight Stunt magazine, you know who behind? That's K Slay, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you know, and I'm like, man, straight, I got to lay out, and this is the beginning of my career.
Yeah.
You know, and then it launched from there. From her, it went to multiple others that would come into Philly and call me, and I would go do their photos, and they wound up on their website and stuff like that. But I got to the point where this was stuff I can't show to my followers on social media because they were adult entertainers. They had movies in video stores and stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't put this stuff on my page because this wasn't the stuff, this wasn't the images I wanted people to see.
Yeah. You didn't want that to represent, you know.
To represent my business. So I had to kind of curve it and go a different direction.
Okay. So for me, and to me that sounds like fantastic because for her, you know, whoever she may be, you know, I already like her because it was so dope that she I want to say gave you the opportunity. Obviously you've proven with your skill set for her to even think of you, to even call you. And she probably knew it was for a big time magazine and she was like, you know what, I'm not going to tell them what it is, but you know, so like that just speaks to, yeah, no, and that speaks to your skill set, you know, working at it. So I think that's pretty cool, especially when people actually refer and do things like that. So I'm happy that she thought about you in that way. So how long after, I guess, you know, at this point you're making money from your shoots now. So at what point did you decide, all right, I need to make this like a business?
Shortly after that, after the takeoff from that, and I was making, you know, money from that side of it, you know, I sat down and was like, you know what, I need to just, this was like early 2008, 2009 or so. And I went in, well, let me back up. My all-time part of it was I was doing parties with the different backdrops.
Okay.
Taking the pictures, printing them out.
Okay.
That was a big part of my income in the photography world. And it went from that to doing, when I landed that and did the photo shoot, then it went into like, man, like, okay, I'm on to something here.
Yeah.
You know, let me get a studio. Let me get a studio where I can bring people in. And that's when I went into a studio in North Philly at the paper mill warehouse.
Okay.
And I had a studio there for like 5 or 6 years. And it was jumping.
So, I mean, this might be a silly question, but I'm assuming you had like a regular traditional job while you were doing that photography,
yes,
right?
When I started out, I was working a job, which I wound up quitting because me and the supervisor had it out. And once I quit, I just went hard with the photography business. Yeah. And I wound up starting to book weddings. Yeah. You know, when I got my first wedding, you know, starting out my first wedding, I only charged the couple $500. Yeah. You know, I did the wedding. They loved the pictures. Then I picked up another wedding. And then once I got to a point where I was, like, my first wedding, I was nervous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, I'm like, man, I was watching YouTube videos. I'm doing research on how, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing shooting the wedding. And previously, from going to weddings and seeing the photographers run around taking the pictures, I've always had an eye to know what to capture, what was a good shot, because every shot has to tell a story.
Yes.
So I'd already had that artistic eye to where as though, you know, catching the pastor holding the rings, you know, the couple holding hands. So from there, once I quit the job, I was blessed. Yeah. And went into, you know, booking weddings. I was getting weddings and it just started building up. And I was like, wow, like, you know, this is something. You know, I was blessed where I didn't have to work. Yeah. You know, my income was solely based on these weddings I was getting, and I was just saving the money to purchase more equipment.
And that's very key there because you said you were saving money to purchase new equipment. Usually people gain that success and, you know, they'll spend that money on, you know, frivolous things, in my opinion. But like if you're genuinely trying to really start a business, you believe in your craft, you have to invest in yourself. Right, so, you know, the better equipment you have, the better the shot. It starts to separate you from all the other photographers that, you know, start with the basic equipment. in my opinion. So I think that's really key where you say, you know, you invest in yourself. It's really a big deal. People really don't understand that. So
yeah, I was letting the money I was making from the business, from the photography, fund my photography.
exactly.
So that money I was making, I was saving, and then I would trade in the camera and buy a new camera. Buying lights, buying backdrops, you know what I mean? So I didn't have to dig in my personal money. I let the money I was making from that pay for everything.
While you're working your job, I know you said you quit because of the issue, but like how long after? Because you know, like, you know, some people have jobs and they pick up, you know, whatever their passion is, but usually some people aren't able to do what you did for like years sometimes, or you know, some people are fortunate to be like a week or a month. So how long did it take you to be like, all right, you know what, I make enough here to where I feel secure enough, I don't got to deal with your nonsense, I'm out of here?
I want to say, Jimmy, it was immediately after I left that job. I was like full force in it. And it was immediately because I was booking so many gigs, so many parties and stuff where I was, you know, printing the pictures and selling them and stuff like that. I was booking so many, like every weekend was booked with that.
Yeah.
So I would look at my calendar and I'd be like, man, okay, Monday through Thursday, I'm home, but Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday, I was all over the place.
Bouncing around
doing different parties. People was having events, birthday parties, anniversary parties, and I'm there set up with a nice backdrop, taking pictures, selling them. So it was immediate. It just happened immediately, and I say I was blessed.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to move forward like that, and then not look back, not worry, not stress about, oh, I gotta pay this bill. I was smart with it.
Yeah.
You know, and I got into using my money wisely.
Yeah.
Instead of just out blowing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, which is key, and I like everything that you're saying because I know you're a humble guy, and it's important that you guys understand he's very humble. Where you say it's a blessing. You know, some people might just be straight, you know, cocky and go, oh, you know, because I'm the man, because I take the best shots. You know, that's why. But you understood, like, you know what, like this doesn't happen every day. This is a very rare situation.
Right.
Where right away, some people leave their jobs and they, you know, chase their dreams, and it takes a very long time for them to even see success. So they are worried about the bills and you know, how am I going to eat the next day, and how am I going to, you know, pay my rent. So I think that's pretty cool how you view that. I think that's really important. That speaks to your character. So I'm assuming back in the day, the way that you built your clientele, was it just strictly through referral, or were you actively like just going out there?
A lot of it was word of mouth.
Okay.
Word of mouth is the biggest advertisement that anyone can have for a business.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of people. You know, like I said, I came from the motorcycle community, where it's motorcycle clubs all over the United States.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was getting referrals from people, friends, things like that. A lot of business came from out of town. You know, where I would get clients from Baltimore or Virginia or something like that, the DMV area, you know, that will come to the studio and shoot with me. So a lot of it was word of mouth. I didn't hit social media till like 2009, 2010.
I was gonna ask you that. Now, because I'm thinking back then social media wasn't really the go-to. Like you said, it was really word of mouth. So I was gonna ask you, in today's world now, how do you leverage social media? Is it as effective opposed to what was happening in the past, or is it even better now that you can?
Social media, it can be a gift and a curse for people.
Okay.
If you use it right,
Yeah.
it can be very profitable. It can do major things for you.
Yeah.
But you have to know how. You got to use it the right way. When I got on Facebook when I registered for Facebook, I think it was like 2009, 2010, that was the start of it.
Yeah.
You know, Facebook was just coming about. People was telling me about Facebook, like, yo, you need to be on Facebook. I'm like, man, what is Facebook?
Yeah.
You know, at that time, before Facebook, I was using Yahoo groups. You know, Yahoo groups and Yahoo chat, Yahoo Messenger, things like that. you know, so when Facebook came about, they was like, oh man, you need to get on Facebook. You need to be on Facebook. And I'm like, man, what is Facebook? Like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? But then when I finally got on it, you know, from the time I was on it, I seen people come and go.
Yeah.
You know, businesses, photographers come and go, and I just stayed consistent with it.
And because for me, you know, I'm from an era where, you know, I was when the internet started. I'm not young, but I'm also I'm in the middle. So I was here for like when the internet bloomed. So for me, what I'm thinking is like in terms of how you clientele, I would think that social media would be a big tool because, like you said, it's that word of mouth. But now let's say if I came to you for a shoot and, you know, the services was fantastic, the pictures were amazing, everything was great. Now it's not just like when I see somebody and they happen to mention photography, I'm like, hey, I know a guy. Now it's, you know, I can just post on my page, post the pictures and say, you know, hey, at, you know, such and such, this guy is fantastic. Look at how these photos came out. Because, you know, if you have like 500, 600 friends on average, someone is going to see that and be like, wow, like who took those photos? Like who did that? And, you know, so did you generate a lot of business in that way?
Yes. When I hit Facebook, my mind, when I originally hit Facebook, my mind was to get a certain percentage of people on Facebook to profile my pictures. And my mindset going into that, and I want to say a good number of people from the time I hit to now, a large amount of people on Facebook have images from me. You know, whether they're their profile picture, whether it's their, you know, they're on their page or whatever. And that was my mindset when I got on it. I was like, man, if I can get a percentage of people on there with pictures from me, I'm doing good.
We're talking conversion rates here. See, so with the business acumen, just to give people an idea, like a conversion rate. You get what I'm saying? Like, all right, 1,000 people comes and they see that if I can at least get 100 of them, you know, to come and do business. You know, some people want everybody to come, but really you don't need a huge percentage.
It's you know, it's millions of people on Facebook, billions.
Yeah.
And my mind was set like, if I can get a percentage.
Just 1% of that 7 billion.
Oh man, like, and then I'll look at, oh my God, this person got pictures from me, that person got pictures from me, that person got pictures from me, that person got, and it just went on. And you know, once, like I tell people, it's all about the experience.
Yeah.
If you give someone that good experience, then they won't have a problem with telling their girlfriend, hey, go to John. You know what I mean? Let John do your pictures. Like, he's awesome, you know. I had fun.
Yeah.
You know, every client that has stepped foot in front of my camera will tell you they had an awesome time.
Yeah. No, I could tell from your personality. You don't even have to tell me. I can tell the clients are comfortable. They're having a good time. You probably have them laughing. Because, you know, when you get in front of a camera, you know, it's one thing when you're taking a selfie. You know, you can, all right, I look terrible, and you can do it 100 million times, but you're comfortable in your own home, your own space. But when it's like you come to a studio, there's a photographer, you know, you don't know him, you know, there's a lot of nerves that come up. So it's like, am I smiling correctly? You know, am I looking at a camera properly? Do I look cockeyed? This is me from my personal experience.
And that's what I coach them on. When they step in front of the camera, it's not only a session, but I'm coaching.
Yeah.
Turn this way, pose this way, move this arm this way, put this foot that way. You know, so it's a coaching process as well.
Absolutely.
As well as them having fun. I ask them, what type of music you listen to? I put on, you know, I go in iHeart or something like that and, you know, cue up the type of music that they like, so it gets them in their comfort zone. You know, they're not so much thinking about me now. Now they're dancing and having fun, and they're doing natural stuff, and I'm catching it.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Because now they ain't even thinking about being in front of the camera. They're enjoying themselves and being themselves, and I'm catching them in that element. They're looking at me smiling, boom, I'm catching it. They're turning this way, they're turning that way, and I'm catching it. And then I show them, and they're like, oh my God. Like, I've had clients literally cry.
Yeah.
You know, when they see the images, like, oh my God, that's me. You know what I mean? And I show them, like, you know, that's you. Look.
Yeah, you got caught off guard. Yeah, because when you're on guard, you don't get that person's genuine smile, you know, especially for people like myself. I consider myself not photogenic. So like you really have to I have a few shots that I'm proud of, but like most of it, I'm like, I look like, I look weird, you know, so I feel like that's definitely needed to sort of like ease the moment. Like you said, I think that's great that you play the music to get someone that, you know, very comfortable. They're not even paying attention at this point. So I think that's really dope, and I think it's important. It's not just a simple, I mean, from what I've seen, like I said, I've been in New York City. There's a lot of freelance photographers, as I told you, and it's just really a point and shoot. I don't really hear like, hey, stand this way or pose. I don't really hear that. It's just the person poses the way that they want to pose. They stand
the shot,
and they just take the shot. So there's a huge difference between the two. Not to say that they're not professional, but there's obviously a huge difference in the way that you guys do the shot. And I do feel the coaching is needed because some people never been in front of a camera. Exactly. So they'll do, the peace sign pose or some sort of like just random generic poses that we see. So it's really good to hear that you do that. So my next question for you is, obviously you've been doing this a long time. And you said at 2009, 2010 is when you got on Facebook. At what point did you become the official photographer and media director for all these fashion shows that I mentioned earlier? Like, how did you get to that?
Man, for Atlantic City Fashion Week, it was, I picked up with them at season 2.
Okay.
And we're now to season 19. A good friend and fellow photographer named Jay Matthews, I met him and he seen the potential and he brought me on. I was very strong-minded. I was a leader. I was his right hand.
Yeah.
And from there, when he brought me on, and I'll be honest, like I felt as though my fashion show images wasn't up to par because I'm looking at his shots, other photographers, and I'm like, man, I ain't there yet.
Yeah.
So I stepped back for a couple seasons just to do some education on my part on shooting a fashion show. And when I came back, I set out for like 2 seasons.
Okay.
And when I came back, I was on point.
Yeah.
I knew what it took to get those shots. So, and I've been rocking and rolling with them ever since.
Yeah.
And I want to say Atlantic City Fashion Week was founded back in 2011.
Okay.
And, like I said, I got on to season 2 and we're up to season 19 now.
That, for me, it's like when you say 2011, I'm like, we're like in 2021. So that's a very long time. And, a title like that isn't given lightly, So when you hear like media director and official, and I'm like, wow, like this guy has, I'm just thinking of the skill set, what it takes, how many people you've impressed, inspired by your photos for them to, and again, the gentleman that you mentioned, that's another great thing where it's like someone saw the potential in you and knew the skills that you had, and they, were able to share that information with you and bring you to that platform. So, I think people like that are very important. We don't get many of those people in our lives. A lot of people are like, yeah, great, we support you, but there's no real action behind it. So when we do get those 1 or 2 people, those things are key. And, I think it's important that you took the opportunity and, again, you're very humble in a sense where it's like, okay, I could just come here and take these photos. You took a step back and said, all right, you know what? My skills needs to be sharpened. Let me step back and come back. So I think that's really dope. So what are some mistakes that you made early in your career that obviously you wish you didn't make, but that you can share with the audience today to possibly help them avoid those same mistakes, especially, if they're just now starting out?
Well, everything I learned in photography is trial and error. Being a business person, connecting with the wrong people. I always say definitely, do your research now, because back when I first started out, I was hungry. And I was getting attached to people that had dirt on their name. And that kind of, oh no, you deal with so-and-so, I don't want to work with you. You know what I mean? Because I got into business with another person, certain other people didn't want to work with me because they knew I dealt with this person. So it was like watching, being careful who you do business with. Being careful how you move in the industry as well. It is a cutthroat industry and you gotta have tough skin. So we're not human. I mean, we're only human.
I was
we're only human. I'm sorry.
No, I got
so
you.
we're not perfect.
Yeah.
So you're going to make mistakes. You're going to, you're going to do things and be like, man, why did I do that? All I can say is learn from the mistakes. I always say, don't let your mistakes be like, don't let them just be mistakes. Let them be a learning tool. So you learn from that, what you did then, so you know not to do it again. You know what I mean? So there's not one incident where I can say, oh, that was a bad mistake. But we're going to make them throughout our business, throughout our career.
Yeah.
And it's just looking back at it and be like, you know what? I know not to do that again.
Got it. Well, hopefully y'all paying attention. Again, it's so true, depending on who you do business with and things like that, reputation. So you definitely have to do a background check. And I think that's across a lot of different businesses.
Right.
When you're thinking of partnership and collaborations and things like that. So that's real important. So for all the new photographers out there, or someone that has been doing it for a few months or even a year, what equipment would you recommend a new photographer get to at least start out in today's world? I would say. Is there any cameras that you love?
Well, I'm a Nikon shooter. I learned on Nikon. I stuck with Nikon because I knew them.
Okay.
Whatever it is that you use, whatever camera that you use, know your camera. Know that camera inside and out. So if something happens, if something malfunctions while you're using that camera, you know how to get it straight and keep going. That's how I learned. I learned my camera. I'm basically self-taught. I've done my own research, watched so many videos, took notes, did all kind of stuff. That's how I learned. That's how I learned the whole photography thing. But whatever camera system that you use, because I know photographers that use Canon systems. I know photographers that use Nikon systems. I know some of them that use Sony now.
Yeah.
Whatever you use, just learn it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Learn that camera inside and out so you know what that camera can do.
Is there any specific lighting equipment? Because I know there's so many different companies that do the lighting, the backdrops, and things like that. Are there some really good ones out there?
Well,
that are affordable, I would say, for the beginner.
Yeah, you would have to do your research to know where your budget is. A lot of times, not everything I buy is name brand.
Yeah.
Sometimes my modifiers, I buy from New, or I buy Flashpoint, I buy, different kind of stuff. It all depends on me doing my research and who has what I need in the budget that I want to spend.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not going to go out and spend $300-400 on something when this company got it over here for $150.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think that's key. I think for a photographer, the most expensive thing should be a camera, I'm assuming, because that's what's really doing all the work, right? So the stands and all these other pieces of equipment, you can play around with it until you get to that point. So a lot of you guys don't know this, but I met Mr. Staples through a Facebook group, which what I thought it was meant for was, for Black entrepreneurs to come in, promote their business, network with others, and things like that. So that's all that I thought it was. And I said, you know what, let me promote my business. Maybe there's someone in here that I can learn from, maybe someone in my same field. But that wasn't the case. It was really a follow for follow. Like my page, I'll like yours. It was nothing really serious. However, I'm happy I didn't leave the group right away, because as I was scrolling down, I think it was a video that I saw of you. And I said, let me see what he's talking about. I unmute the video, and I'm hearing you, you wasn't even really promoting your business in that sense to be like, hey, just come book with me. It was like, hey, this is how you start a business. This is how you form a business. This is how you get an LLC. You need an EIN number to do this. You need a business bank account. And I'm listening to this guy, and I'm like, he's giving free information. Like, a lot of this information, sure, you can look it up if you're really looking for it, but it's not that cut and dry. I feel like, you know, it's always good to have that person. I'm like, you're literally the only person I see in here that's like trying to really help other black entrepreneurs do business, how to do business the correct way.
Right, exactly.
You know, stepping away from the cash apps and the, you know, that type of payment to actually getting a business account, actually, you know, trademarking your name, your logo, and just doing business the right way. So, which I'm thankful for. So my question to you is, what makes you so passionate about it? Because you consistently do that. Like, I don't know how long ago it was when I found you in that group, but months and months have gone by and it's always the same thing. You answer any questions. There's no stupid question. They can ask you how to open a bank account 1,000,000 times and you'll still answer that question, right. Never annoyed. So what is it that gives you that passion to want to educate the community in that way?
Because I want to see everybody win. You know, I want to see everybody being successful at what they do. You can't half-step it. You know, so my thing was, I'll be in groups and I'll see certain things posted and I'm like, these people don't have a clue. You know, and I'm like, let me drop some knowledge on them. Let me drop some nuggets on them to get them started. Because me coming up, when I was trying to learn and I was reaching out to certain photographers, I was being ignored.
Yeah.
A lot of photographers won't give you the knowledge because they feel as though you're going to take something from them.
Yeah.
You know, and I always said, you know, I'm not going to be that type. You know, I got people that follow me now, photographers that's just starting out, that hit me up, that inbox me and ask me questions if I'm not on live. And I'll respond to them. Yeah. You know, or they give me a question, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a live on that tonight for you and talk about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they be like, all right, cool. You know, and I go on and do a live and I explain the steps to them because I want to see everybody be successful. I want to see everybody win. And I want to see everybody do the business the right way because our people have such a bad stigma on them for not doing business the right way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's like, how can we change that?
No, I agree. What do you feel is the biggest opportunity for black businesses in terms of how they do business?
I think one of the biggest things with our people in black business that they need to correct is the customer service end of it.
I agree.
You know, if that has such a bad rep for our people, because the minute somebody calls you and say, hey, you shipped me the wrong thing, you get an attitude and get defensive.
Yeah.
No, that's what you ordered. That's what you ordered, blah, blah, blah. And then before you know it, you hang the phone up on that client.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do that.
Absolutely.
You know, just like if you order from Amazon and you call Amazon and the minute you say, hey, this isn't what I ordered, they immediately take care of it.
Yep.
And it makes you want to, okay, wow, they took care. I mean, I've ordered from Amazon. They told me, oh, you keep that, Mr. Staples. We're going to send you this. And you keep that, and we'll give you a credit, you know, just for that. So you got to take, I always say, you know, some of our people with their business, they need to go to a Chick-fil-A customer service thing, because out of all the fast food chains, they got the best customer service.
Yeah, they do. Chick-fil-A is different, yeah.
Yeah, their customer service is totally, and I'm like, yo, if you run the business, look at their model or how they handle their customer service.
Well, key point to your Amazon reference, look at the way that they handle that situation. They have all the technology where there's like, you did order this wrong, but you're not happy with it. Or something, maybe there was a mistake. And the way that they accommodate it, what it does is it builds your confidence in them. So you know what? I'm gonna work with Amazon because in the off chance something goes wrong, I know they have my back. Hence why Jeff Bezos is worth $184 billion, right? They put that customer experience first. And I've had similar situations.
I opened something and it might have been damaged. And I call them and say, hey, I opened this and it was damaged. They were like, oh, okay, well, you keep that. We'll send you a
next
new
day.
Yeah, next day it's on the step.
Yep. So I think that's very important because me, I really do believe in supporting black businesses. You know, I try my very best to do it. If you're doing something in an official capacity, you're really passionate about it, I will support it. That's just how I am.
But my thing is, Jimmy, when we try to support black businesses, why do they make it so hard to support them?
Yeah.
You know, why when we come to them and support them, they give us the runaround as a consumer?
Yeah.
It makes you not want to do anything with them.
Yeah, I had a few
Like, you
instances,
giving me
yeah.
the runaround, so why should I bring you my money?
I actually had an instance like that where I like paid an order for something, it never showed up. I was like, hey, what's going on? You know, and it was just like the runaround for a little bit. Eventually I got it, but then the product wasn't even all of that to begin with, from what the pictures looked like. So it looked like it was rushed and things like that. So in that moment, there should have been like, oh, you're not happy with it? You know what? I'll refund you the money, especially since you had to wait an extra month to receive it.
Exactly.
Right? You know, I want to be patient, and, you know, I understand they're new in business, but it was just a terrible overall. No refund, no, let me send you a new one.
No explanation, yeah.
But me, I don't make a big deal about it. Once you do that, once I have that experience, I won't do it anymore. So if you notice I just stopped shopping with you, just know it was something that you did, you know? So
But then that puts you in the mind, like, is the next person you shop with that's a black business owner, are they going to do the same thing to you?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So why do we make it so hard to support our own businesses?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To keep that money within our community. Why do we make it so hard? Why is it, you know, everybody wants to get over?
Yeah.
If you're spending $150, $200 with orders from one client, then that person should be like, you know what? Let me make sure I get his stuff out to him in a timely fashion, you know, keep communication. Hey, you know, I had a gentleman order a picture from me from a class reunion. I kept communication with him until he received it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He paid the money. Hey, here's the tracking number. It should be in your mailbox Thursday.
Yeah.
Any issues, give me a call. I'll get right on it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the ghosting thing is really common. Like you said, the attitude, the defensiveness, you know, when something doesn't go wrong, because I did get a bit of that energy as well. So, you know, it's unfortunate, you know, but there's people like you, like I said, that where you guys are trying to do the right thing and trying to change the narrative. And obviously we still have a very long way to go. There's a ton of great black businesses out there. Let's not, you know.
Right, exactly.
They are, but the reason they are what they are is because I think customer service is a key element in that, you know, in the way that they do business. So I think that's a very valid point. Just a quick last question. I know you said you work with photographers, new photographers, they reach out with you. Do you actually like bring them on board and have them come do shoots with you or things like that? Or
if they're in the area,
Yeah.
I will invite them out. Say, hey, well, you know, next time I'm at the studio, come on through.
Okay.
You know, even bringing them on into the media pit at the fashion show.
Yeah.
You know, I've had photographers I brought in the media pit at the fashion show and taught them how to shoot the fashion show. You know, got them right with their settings and introduced them to other photographers that's there, and, you know, they had fun.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not, you know, the part of me being blessed is the blessings that I pass on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I don't ask, oh, you got to pay me extra, because I'm gonna get that back tenfold.
Yeah.
And blessings. That's how I believe in it. Like, if I help you out, I'm gonna get it back.
Yeah.
Tripled.
Karma. I
You
believe
know
in
what I'm saying?
karma. Yeah.
And I believe that's why I've been able to last so long in business, because I'm not trying to get over on people. I treat everyone fair. I'm not taking people's money and just giving them whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I look at everybody that spends money with me, I look at it like, if that was me. If I was spending that money with doing this, how would I want things to look?
I got you. So, I mean, that's pretty much from me. If you guys have any further questions or you want any tips, I have all of Mr. Staples' information in the description, links to his website, Facebook, Instagram. Follow him. He always is dropping important information. His work is incredible. You see that for yourself. I don't need to really tell you that. But make sure you guys check him out. It's based in New Jersey. But he's also, you know, you travel to New York, Philadelphia, wherever it is. So it doesn't matter. He can reach you. So make sure you guys do that. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in this episode and hanging out with us. I know you have a client, but do you mind if we kind
Yeah, you
of
can
get to
hang around.
see. And all right, cool.
Yeah,
All right,
right.
so we'll do that, and we'll catch you guys after that. Peace.
Because you're going to catch Jimmy in front of the camera, too.
I wasn't ready for that, but for real.